Can you see my ears? See me wiggling my ears? I have to concentrate really hard. Can you wiggle your ears? Try it. Can you wiggle your ears? Well, if you can, this might be a trait that you inherited from your parents, right? A genetic trait. Pretty neat, huh? All right. So, do you have dimples, like when you smile? Do you have a dimple? Do you have a dimple? You might not. And today you might need a mirror to find out whether you actually clasp your hands the same way one of your parents does. So when you clasp your hands, you put them together. Go ahead, give it a try. Is the most comfortable way with your right thumb on top, or is the most comfortable way with your left thumb on top? Try it. Is one of them more uncomfortable than the other? Let's try another one. How about your chin? Do you have a cleft in your chin? So a cleft is that little dimple in your chin. I don't have a cleft chin. Widow's peak. So if you pull your hair back and you look in a mirror, do you have a straight hairline or do you have a widow's peak? I have a widow's peak. See it? There's like a V going on right there. Yep. I have a widow's peak. Do you have hair on the middle segment of your finger? So if you look at your finger right there, do you have hair there or not? If you do, it's a trait you inherited. If you don't, it's also a trait you inherited or didn't inherit. How about rolling your tongue? I can do it. Can you do it? Some of you cannot do it. And no matter how hard you try, you will not be able to roll your tongue. And it's because you didn't inherit that trait of tongue rolling. All right, earlobes. So if you look real close at your ears, you can tell whether or not they're detached or attached. My earlobes are not attached. See? They're not attached. You can kind of flip them around. They're not attached. This one too. It's the same on both sides. You can flip them around. They're not attached all the way. These earlobes are actually attached all the way. Okay? So our learning targets today, our only learning target today is I understand that characteristics of mature plants and animals are inherited. So basically there's characteristics from plants and animals that are inherited. Our first term here is heredity. Say it with me. Heredity. Heredity is the passing of traits from parents to offspring. So it really comes from the study of genetics. Say this with me. Genetics. It's the study of heredity. So like looking at why things get inherited or not. We're not talking money. We're talking genes. Genes, not the genes you're wearing, the genes that are on your chromosomes. So genes. Say it with me. Genes. These are the factors that control the traits, like whether or not you have brown eyes or green eyes, or whether or not you can roll your tongue, okay? This is a fun word, allele. Say it with me, allele. It's the different form of a gene. So like if you have a gene that is dominant and you can roll your tongue, then that's a dominant gene. If you cannot roll your tongue, then it's a recessive gene. And you're going to hear some of those things today. Pay attention to them because we're going to do a lab about them later, not today. And we're going to talk about how you look at genes and how you can kind of predict the genes that come from different parents. So what you're going to do today is you're going to watch a video, you're going to read some information, you're going to look at some pictures, you can hear me read some stuff to you, you're going to watch a movie about the great discoveries with genetics with Bill Nye, which is quite amazing. So I hope that you brought your earbuds. Okay. And so here are the traits you are going to test for. You're basically going to check whether you have it or you don't. Okay. So detached earlobes, we covered that one. Tongue rolling. So I have detached. So do you? If you need to look in a mirror, do look in a mirror. Roll your tongue. Can you? Yes or no? And there's also another way to roll your tongue. It's weird. Okay. Dimples. If you're right-handed, that's a dominant gene. If you have freckles or no freckles. If you have naturally curly hair. Not like, did you curl your hair this morning? Cleft chin. Do you cross your left thumb over your right? Just put an X in the box. Do you have brown eyes? You might not. You might have blue eyes or green eyes. I have brown eyes. That's the dominant trait. You might need to look at your toes at this point because I want you to look at the length of your second toe. If your second toe is longer than your first toe, that's a dominant trait. Is your little finger straight? It might not be. It might be crooked, and it might have come from one of your parents. What's super fun is to go home and do this stuff with your parents and see if this came from one of them or the other. You might have a front tooth gap. This is tricky to know because you might still have teeth coming in at this point. I do not have a gap, but there are definitely people who have a front tooth gap when they have all of their adult teeth, and that's hereditary, so that one of their parents probably had it. And allergies. Achoo! Of course. You might be allergic to the same thing as your parents. And a widow's peak, right? So one of my parents had a widow's peak because I have one. All right. So with that, I want you to make sure that you really take into consideration the traits that you have that are physical. And these are just a few of them. You'll see some more pictures of them as you watch the videos and you read the information. And have fun watching the videos. Okay? All right.